Carl Stedman. He's a great singer.
He is awesome. Great singer, great energy, great guy.
And we're here with, we have Sarah Zeldman here now. And Sarah, we're having fun already.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So you are the e-marketing maven.
I must be, because it says so on my
Right.
business card. Yeah.
And that's not what your guidance counselor told you were going to be when you grew up, right?
No, the internet was like a blip in somebody's eye.
Exactly. So what happened? How did this happen?
I have a very diverse and eclectic background.
I don't know what that means. Should we even ask?
Yeah, let's get into it.
That's interesting.
In extreme detail.
I went to university. I trained to be a sign language interpreter. So it all started with communication, right?
Okay.
But I wasn't able to do that. It's very taxing on the body, and long story short, I had to find something else. Then in the 90s, life coaching was emerging as a field, and I became a life coach. While I was studying to be a life coach, I found on the internet, these are in the day before Google, before Facebook, I found this self-study course. It was 2 giant notebooks that said you can learn to sell anything on the internet, any product, any service. So I thought this would be great for me to learn to promote myself as a life coach. And I bought it and I studied it, and I never stopped learning. And I did it to promote myself as a life coach. But about 4 years ago, there was a shift in my life. I needed to provide the main income for my family, and I just knew that life coaching would be a harder thing to promote. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually using those same skills to educate and empower small business owners to use social media to promote their products and services. So that's the background. That's how I got into it.
Okay, so, well, let's talk about...
Just 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I
you.
studied, I always kept up on internet marketing.
Well, it's
for
a
like
very
15
new,
years.
it's a new phenomenon anyway. I mean, the internet's only been here for 15 years, and then the whole social media is a new wrinkle in internet evolution, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm sure you know a lot of people, small business people especially, and I think, in fact, we're headed towards an economy where almost everybody's a small business person.
Yeah.
Because the big companies are all just closing down and moving away.
I don't know. I guess, but it's funny. A small business is defined by the government as less than 500 employees. So that's
I thought it was
actually
50.
So yeah, no. A lot of people think it's 5 to 10, whatever. So actually, the companies I tend to work with tend to be micro businesses, 1 to 5 employees.
Yeah,
either
of course.
the solo professional or 1 to 5.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's where we're going.
Right.
An economy of entrepreneurs.
It's always been that way. Small business really is the mainstay of any economy, and that's why the government supports small business owners in various ways, from the local business enterprise centers that they provide to support small business owners, which I'm proud to speak there. And in that case, then you're absolutely right. I correct myself.
So, okay, let's talk about e-marketing, especially for small and micro businesses, because there's a lot of people that may not. First of all, maybe give people an idea why it's so important. And maybe they don't even understand what's happening in the scene.
Sure, it's funny. I think people have an inkling that it is important. A lot of small business owners are suffering from what I call social media stress syndrome. I have to get on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn all yesterday, right? And that leads to an approach where they're kind of jumping in and not really understanding it, and they're not. They don't have a strategy, and
Well, how can you have a strategy if you don't understand it?
Right, exactly. So that's where I come in. I always say that succeeding with social media marketing is a combination of technology, psychology, and strategy. I can teach you where to click, how to post, how to like something, but to really achieve results, you have to understand who you're trying to communicate with, make sure they're on that site that you're focusing on, and create a strategy to connect with them, because it's really about connecting with the person behind the computer.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I teach them step by step how to do that.
So you're not just giving them fish, you're teaching them how to fish.
I educate and empower them and their staff to actively promote themselves on social media, because there will always be the bigger companies that will either hire someone in-house to just focus on that, or pay another social media management company, but there will always be people, especially small business owners, who either want to or need to do it themselves.
Well, I think you almost you kind of need to almost on your own, because otherwise your brand is out of your control unless you've got.
Exactly. You've either got to find a management company that really not only knows what they're doing on the sites, but you can delegate it but not abdicate it. You have to constantly have communication with them to make sure they're doing it well. And a lot of people make the mistake of handing it off, and I could tell you many disaster stories. So actually, a lot of people either come to my classes or hire me even if they're not going to do it themselves, so that they can supervise the people that they hire or the company that they hire, so education. They know enough. So there'll always be people to delegate it, but there'll always be people who need to, either because they can't afford the several $100s a month it'll cost to have someone else manage it, or because they want their unique voice, or because they have a unique understanding of their industry that only they or their staff can communicate. And so that's where I try to bridge the gap between them and getting their message out to the world. So
for social media, is it 3 main things: Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn? Are those the 3 you focus on? What else is there out there?
You definitely hit it. Those are thought of as the main 3. Okay. I would expand, and generally one of those will do. I think every company does not have to be on every social media site, but just about every company should be on at least one. So you probably want to be at least one of those. The other 3 main ones, if we're going to...
Wait, which were those 3? Facebook, Twitter?
Okay. Facebook,
LinkedIn.
Twitter,
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Oh, LinkedIn.
You should probably be on at least one of those.
Okay.
And the other ones to consider are YouTube, Pinterest, and Google+.
What is Pinterest?
Yeah, I don't get Pinterest.
Okay, so Pinterest is a very visual social network. You find a great image, a great picture, an infographic, and they give you a board, okay? And you can pin any graphic from anywhere on the internet on this on a board that's categorized as great recipes, or a board that's great fashion, or Toronto events. And so it's a very visual way to organize things, and it's addictive because it's hard without actually showing you. It's just the focus on the image, and it's a way to organize images.
So it seems to me that some of these social media venues would be better for certain businesses than others. Is that correct?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head. I was just about to say that Pinterest, people say that Pinterest can be used for anything, can be used if you're selling business to business, but really what it's good for is if you have a physical product to sell, jewelry, something that will enhance someone's lifestyle,
CDs,
home decorations.
Music? Would that work?
Maybe. It almost always comes down to where is your target customer hanging out and talking about stuff related to what you have to offer. So it would depend on the kind of musician, where's their target market. I don't know if the musician could make the visual link enough to make Pinterest the #1 thing he should focus on.
So a fashion designer?
A fashion designer, absolutely. And Pinterest, here's the interesting thing. It's the 3rd largest social network. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
Yeah, and it drives sales. There are studies that it drives sales better than Facebook and Twitter.
Wow.
And when you use it for the right kind of company, for a company that has a physical product to
now, Google Plus, we have to ask about that one. Is it Google Plus? Is that there? What do you know what that is, Hugh?
Yes, I do. I even have an account on Google Plus, and I even have a Pinterest account.
Cool.
But you didn't know what it was.
Using them.
I just don't. Yeah. Well, I try to get on the curve quickly, and then
you just
forget about it.
So educate me, please.
Google Plus is not only Google's social network,
like Facebook,
similar to Facebook. It is a social layer over all of Google's many, many products. So Google Docs, Gmail, Google Maps, it's all integrated into Google+.
Isn't it even integrated with Hotmail now?
I wouldn't be surprised. Probably, yeah. If
Isn't Gmail
I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But if Google owns it, it's connected, or it's going to be connected.
Okay.
And it's really important for 2 reasons. Google is the exception to the rule. The rule being you want to go where your target customer is, even if your target customers aren't on Google+, you may want to be on and be active because your activity there is linked to the search engine results. So if you want, right?
Okay,
so that's
okay.
one reason to be on it. The other thing to be on it is for many people feel like, are you kidding me? Another social network?
Exactly.
But let me tell you, it's not going away because we grew up in the era of using Microsoft Office, Microsoft Word as our word processing office suite.
Yes.
But the younger generation is now growing up, and the university generation now is growing up using Google Apps. So if Google Plus and Google Apps is integrated, it's not going away anytime soon. So Google Plus, I think, even though it has less users and it's struggling and the other forms of it went away, I think it's here to stay, and I think it's important to pay attention to.
So you're thinking it's like the Apple or the Mac was when Microsoft was huge.
Social media expert Guy Kawasaki, I believe, if I'm attributing the right quote, says it is the Apple of the social media, the Macintosh. You're pretty good.
Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Skype. Is that considered social media?
Skype has social aspects. I wouldn't consider it one of the main 6 social media sites that I mentioned, but it definitely does, because you will see more and more products, online products, becoming more social. So Skype definitely does integrate social. It wants to be a social network, and it integrates social aspects of it.
Okay, so if we're going to invent so we can become the 7th social media, what would we do, Sarah? What would
Oh my gosh, that's a tough question.
Is it?
what can we come up with?
I know what it is. I already have the answer.
Are
I'm
you
not-
keeping it secret?
Yeah, it's a secret.
Okay, so I'll look for that.
Okay, so then you
in
need to
development.
contact her after
So
that.
come on, but can you answer the question?
My job is to see what's out there, stay on top of it, and educate.
What are
so
the
I haven't thought that.
What are the trends then? What trends are you noticing in the whole social media scene?
Trends in what respect?
Well,
I asked that, first of all, it's always changing.
I know.
Yeah.
So I mean, Pinterest is relatively new, but I mean, what else is happening that
whole Google app thing
that you're
is
aware of? Maybe is under the radar for most people.
You know, it's funny. What trends are? You'd have to ask me about each individual network and how it's changing, or trends in there. I can't really speak to trends because I focus on how can business owners use this to promote their products and
Right.
services.
So let me ask you another question then, because I know that there are tools out there that help, or suppose that their job is to help someone manage their whole social media environment or ecosystem. I think sometimes they use the word, right? Are there any out there that you like that work for you?
Each one has its pros and cons. The one that I think is used most, promoted most, is Hootsuite.
Yeah.
Because first of all, it's free for up to 5 accounts. So for the small business owner, for the solopreneur, that may be all they need. Okay, and it has very affordable pro plan and enterprise plans, and it basically has all the functions you need. It's a social media dashboard where you can access all of your social media accounts from one central place, and it could track analytics. You can schedule your posts so you don't always have to show up in posts. So Hootsuite is definitely one of the time-saving tools that I promote.
Now, is this a full-time job?
For a company, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you were to do Hootsuite, if that's what it's called, I mean, to post regularly on these places and keep tabs and Twitter, and oh my God.
It doesn't have to be. In fact, that's part of what I teach, is that a lot of people get thrown off because it takes time to learn the details. But there's always a learning curve. And I always say it's like learning to drive a car. When I learned to drive a car, I was very nervous, took all my time, it took my attention, and now it's automatic. Once if I work with you, I teach you, and you practice, it can get to the point where you're posting a couple of minutes a day, not even every day, and you check in, and you got to be a little disciplined, and I teach little tricks to help keep you focused. You check in, you network on the site, you post, and you get out. So it can be integrated into your work routine. We all got used to checking our email.
Yes,
and
we did.
But I encourage the small business owner not to try to be active on all 6 at once if there's a solopreneur. You know, it's focus on one, maybe maintain a couple of other. You got to be
Makes
strategic
sense.
about the time that it takes.
Okay.
Go ahead. I
Don't fight.
dominated.
Like,
So you talk about you teach people, but then also you're teaching. You have a class, a course. Like what, how do people who are out there who are feeling the need to get their social media house in order, how do they work with you, or are there a number of different ways?
So I teach a course about once a month at the Vaughan Chamber of Commerce. I make sure to schedule one and we have 10 business owners around a room with their laptops, and we go step by step. But I also come to people's offices and train them and their staff. And I also, if someone wants to bring me either to their office or to their organization to do a seminar or hands-on workshop, I'm available for that too.
Now, and I think even though something like Hootsuite, that's pretty much you do your own thing, right? You manage your own social media. That's okay. But still, if you don't understand what they are, they still need to go to a class like you to understand what all this is, right?
You can try to figure it out you can try to figure it out on your own, and you can try to find a YouTube video that explains this or that and read articles. But the idea is that I've already done that, and I can just shorten that learning curve for you and be there for follow-up support if you get stuck.
Right. Okay.
So when you teach the course at the Vaughan, what is
Chamber
it?
of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. Like, is it the same course every month?
No, I do one social network a month. Tomorrow morning, I'm doing Twitter step by step. And next month I'm doing Pinterest step by step, and then LinkedIn step by step.
That sounds really useful.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So, like, do you get the same, you only have 10 entrepreneurs at a
10,
time?
sometimes 12, but I try to keep it small because if they get stuck, I run over and help them, and I don't want to have too many.
Right. So how much do they pay for that?
It's $125 for each, and if they sign up for 3, then they get a free 1-hour follow-up session with me.
Oh, okay.
So,
now, what if somebody wants to follow up with you outside of that? Maybe they can't get to Vaughan.
Yeah, so just give me a call and we'll schedule, and I come to your office and do the same thing. And some people, I keep the classes more affordable, but some people either they say, I'm ADD, I can't deal with a classroom 10 people, or I want you to focus and give me ideas just for my business. Okay, because when I'm teaching a class, I have many different kind of businesses, and I try to throw, okay, this could work for your business with this twist, and this could work for that business with this twist. But if I'm just focusing on one business, you get a lot more ideas. So that's.
So do you find, Sarah, that there are specific industries, like say I have a restaurant. Okay, so you would definitely recommend Facebook. Like, do you have like a pattern or a formula?
Yes, actually, one of the things that I usually, I welcome people to call me for a 15, 20-minute phone call, and the question I answer the most often is, which one should I start with?
Okay.
First, I tell people, don't worry, you don't have to do all at once, and they relax. I say I help people suffering from social media stress syndrome, and then we go through the process of trying to figure out which one would be best.
Okay.
And sometimes, if you can identify that your target market is on and active on one site versus the other, great, that's an easy call. But if something like a restaurant, they would be everywhere, then then we try to figure out, well, then what would be the easiest for you to maintain? Often, ironically, people don't expect, often it's Twitter. I find Twitter that it's the one that confuses people the most when they look at it. But once I explained it to them, it's the fastest to learn, it's the fastest to manage, and it's a lot more powerful than people think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So tomorrow you've got one of these?
A Twitter step by
all
step.
about Twitter.
Yep.
What time
The Vaughan Chamber of Commerce, 9 a.m.
Can they still go? Do you still have room?
Yeah. There are a couple spaces left, I think, unless they're all filled by now. But
9 a.m.
so.
at the Vaughan Chamber of Commerce. Where's that? Where's that?
That's.
I remember when that was a field.
That is no, Vaughan is a thriving city now. And by the way, we have a rockin' mayor also. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Actually, I like some of the urban planning they're doing up in Vaughan.
Yeah, they're really. I love it. Yeah. And so go to my website, theemarketingmaven.com, and you'll see a blue bar on the top, the schedule of my upcoming classes. And on that page will be a link to register for the class.
And it's 9 to 5 or 9?
No, it's 9 to 12:30. It's 3 hours, and we get you set up and ready to tweet. And we get you tweeting right in class. It's a lot of fun.
Wow, it sounds great.
It's my favorite one to teach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Theemarketingmaven.com, and just look for the bar and sign in.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well,
This
thank
is a
you,
great
Sarah.
show.
This has been great to have you on, and Well, I didn't learn a lot. I learned a lot of
How much
things
you
that
don't
I
know.
want to learn.
More.
That's what I learned.
Okay.
So thanks, Sarah,
My
for doing
pleasure.
this.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, so let's watch a video, and then we'll come
Another
back
video.
with... Oh, do we have video for Andrea, our next guest? Why don't we watch that now? We've got Andrea Gunraj coming on, communication specialist with Metrac.org. We're going to watch this video and come back and chat with Andrea right after this.